All right. So last class we did 4-1 through 4-5. Um, they weren't as heavy topics. That's why we were able to do 5 sections. We'll do three today: 4-6, 4-7, and 4-8. All right. Get to my notes on my phone. So the first one, well, 4-6, we're looking at applications of percents. So we'll do a few word problems. No, 41 400. That should be E. Yep. All right, so Frank earns $41,400 one year and receives a 5% raise in salary. What is this new salary? All right, so we're talking about a raise. You have your original pay plus the raise, and we're going to get new pay, right? So that's the equation we're looking at. We have the original amount of money, and then we're going to have a raise, add that to it, and then we'll have a new amount that we're getting paid. So originally he earns 41,400. All right. Now the raise, he gets a 5% raise in salary. And so that 5% doesn't stand alone. In other words, we don't write 5% right here. And then if you want to convert it to a decimal, of course, we don't write 0.05 right there. It didn't say a 5 cent raise, it's 5%. So whenever you have a percentage, you're talking about a percentage of something. Well, the only thing that existed was the original salary. So you're talking about 5% of original pay. Right. So of mathematically means multiplication. So we're talking about 0.05 times 41,400. And then that's going to equal our new pay. All right, make sure you're all right. And probably, I'm pretty sure most of y'all already know how to do this because, you receive raises and anticipated raises and went calculating your own raise and all the good stuff like that. But we're just going through the process. I can get to my calculator. 0.05. So that's going to be 2,070. And that'll be 43,470. All right. Questions on that before we go anywhere else? All right. In an office building, 50 offices are currently being rented. This represents 40% of the total units. How many offices are there in the building? So you always want to be looking for keywords, and I already mentioned one of them, which is of. 40% of the total units. Remember, I said of means multiplication. So one way of setting up this relationship is you either say PBA or APB, whichever one fits you better. Wherein P is your percent, B is your base, and then A is your amount. Also, another word for base is your total. Another word for amount is the part. So as far as this relationship goes, your percentage is always being multiplied times the total or multiplied times the base in order to figure out the part that's associated with that percentage. So we look at what we have in an office building. 50 offices are currently being rented. This is 40% of the total units. How many offices are there? So you're talking about 40%, convert that to a decimal, times the total number of units. And so that means if I were to take up this, my percent is 40%, which would be 0.4 as a decimal. My base is my unknown because we don't know 40% of the total number. And then that amount is those 50 offices. We know 40% of the total number is 50. So that's the part of the total number. All right, so before I fill it in here, questions on how we establish what our percent, base, and amount is? Everybody good? So that's 0.4 times x is equal to 50. And now we can divide both sides by that 0.4. And 125. All right. Questions? Any questions? All right. Let's do at least one more. So this section is like, let's like 8. Yeah, it's only 8 problems. So it's just many word problems like this. I didn't want to do too many of them. And so I had to actually go in this section and pull out problems out of my math lab since the book really wasn't lining up with this section. So didn't want to do all of your homework problems, but do a few of them, make sure we're good.
What section is this?
4.6.
Okay.
All right, so An Olympic team consists of 145 members. Approximately 43.2% of the athletes are men. How many men are on the team? All right. So once again, looking at P, B, and A. Our percentage, 43.2. Convert that to a decimal, 0.432. All we did was move the decimal 2 places to the left. Now, our total, our base, says an Olympic team consists of 145 members. So the whole team has 145 members on it. And we want to know how many of them are men. So that's going to be our X. That's the part. The amount is the part of that whole. All right. So, like I said, you can either do APB or PBA. Just remember that the percentage times your base is going to equal to that amount. So you go 0.432 times 145 equal to X. Let's hit something in the chat. Okay, yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. So we have 0.432 times 145 is equal to X. Once again, P, B, A. All right, 0.432 times 145. And that is 62.64 equal to X. And let's see, I'm pretty sure they told us round to the nearest, round to the nearest whole. So that would be 63 men. No such thing as 0.64 of a person, you know? And so, of course, the directions will tell you, when to round and when not to. All right. Questions on those? Questions, concerns, comments? So like I said, it was just eight problems like that where you just setting them up using the same type of concept, thought process. All right. So try them out. Let me know if you have any problems with it. Just like, your classmate brought questions today, knocked it out. Every day is an opportunity for questions. So don't forget that. And always feel free to email me as well. If you emailed me Tuesday, maybe late Tuesday, still getting caught up from late Tuesday emails. So Tuesday, I'm trying to do that this evening, get caught up from Tuesday up to today. So, but really, I should be good with Tuesdays. But anyway, just throwing it out there as a possibility. I know if you email me Wednesday, I still need to get to that. So, all right. So let's look at the next section. 4.7, sales tax. if the sales tax, oh, okay, lost my spot. All right, so 4.7 is sales tax commission and discount. Is that a comma? Pretty sure it's a comma. Should be a comma. Sales tax commission and discount. So first one, what is the sales tax on a jacket priced at $425 if the sales tax rate is 6%? All right. So let's look at the way we'll set it up. Sales tax is going to be equal to tax rate times so sales tax is going to be tax rate times the original price. All right. And just in case they ask, we do sales price. It'll be all right. So and then if they ask for the sales price, this one doesn't, but we can do it anyway. If they ask for the sales price, you would take the sales tax and then add that to the original price. All right. So before we implement that, questions? Everybody good?
I got it.
You said you got it or you got a question?
Hello?
Okay.
No, sorry.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's look at original price. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and calculate the sales tax. Tax rate is 6%. So don't forget, as a decimal, that's going to be 0.06. And then we're going to multiply that times our original price with the 425. Yes, 425. Phone keep cutting off 1.06 times 425. So that's 25.5. And since we're dealing with cents and money, $25.50. All right. And then if I want to find, hold on one second. All right, sales price. Sorry about that. We would take the sales tax, which is $25.50. And then add it to that original price, which is 450.50. So once again, they didn't ask for the sale price, but just in case they ask, we know how to get it. All right. Questions on sales price? All right, sales tax commission. Was that good to go? Any problems? Everybody good? Uh, All right, tax purchase. Looking for the one that had commission. Okay. I'm gonna come back to the sales tax. Okay, yeah. I'll skip one. I'll do that after this since I already written it. Okay, Joe's commission rate is 24%. What is the commission from? All right, so Joe's commission rate is 24%. What is the commission from the sale of $16,500 worth of windows? All right, so commission and sales tax, pretty much the same type of situation. Let's see commission price. Just say commission for right now. So equal to. So we want to calculate the commission. You just take the commission rate, multiply it times the sale price. Commission rate, 24%. So it's going to be 0.24. And that's going to be times our sale price of 16,500. And that's 3,960. All right, question on that one. I wanted to do another one that dealt with sales tax before we left it. All right, any questions before I scroll up? All right. All right, so this time the sales tax is $50 on the purchase of a dining room set for $1,250. Find the sales tax rate. Excuse me. No, the sales price. I don't want to put it back. how do I label it up here? Say, yeah, tax rate. Right, okay, just want to make sure I stick with what I called it up there. Stay consistent with the notes. All right, so going back to our formula. So we have the sales tax is $50. The purchase of dining room set is for $12.50. Find the tax rate. So our unknown this time is the tax rate, and our price, original price was $12.50. So before they gave us the tax rate this time, that's the unknown piece. So we can go ahead and solve for the tax rate by dividing both sides by $12.50. So that'll be 0.04. And if they ask for it in percentage, of course, you move your decimal 2 places to the right. That'll be a 4% sales tax. So it just depends on how they want to answer in decimal or percent. All right, questions before we look at discount? All right, so did I label this commission? I guess, nope, sure didn't, but it's all good. All right, so looking at discount, the way they give us this, it says fine. All right, so a couple of problems had it set up this way, and they tell us to find the missing value. You basically have your mark price, which is, or in other words, your original price, the rate of the discount, and then the sales price. So when we talk about how we would set this up, have our original price. Let me do all this. Depending on what we're trying to find. If we're trying to find the discount, we'll do original price times discount rate. And sales price going to be minus discount. All right. So our discount amount, the way we would find that out is by taking our original price and multiplying it times the discount rate or rate of discount. And then to find our sales price, get our original amount or original price and subtract the discount amount that we just found. All right, so to find the discount amount, our original price is $19.20. I'm going to multiply that times that rate of 0.25. So that's 4.8. But once again, since we're dealing with cents, $4.80. Then to find the sales price, take the original price, which is $19.20, and minus the $4.80. So that'll be $14.40. All right. Questions on those? All right. Probably anything that I put up today so far. All right. So 4.8, that last section. Get in. All right. Let me see something real quick. Participants. Mm-hmm. What I can do about that? Somebody sent me a message. Not really much I can do about that. All right. So let's look at that section. So we're looking at simple interest and compound interest. All right, so your simple interest formula, I equal P RT, where I is the interest earned, P is your principal or deposit, R is your rate, and don't forget to convert that rate to decimal, and then T is your time, which is in years. So T being in years, you will have to convert it to years, unless specifically told otherwise not to do. But for the most part, from what I see, you will be holding true to time being in years. So in other words, if it's not in years, you need to convert it to years. So if T is equal to 24 months, we all know that's 2 years, but the reason why we know that is because we would do 24 divided by 12, which would give us 2 years. So we would keep that same thought process, that same energy. Let's say if I had T equal to 13 months. Well, there are 13 months, but there are 12 months in a year, so that would be 13 over 12, years. So that's how we would do the conversion. So if I had T equal to 37 weeks, I'll put that 37 over 52 because there are 52 weeks in a year. Let's see, months, weeks. That's pretty much it. Then we talk about days. So now the one we have to be careful on is if I have days, let's say if I have 137 days, I will take that 137 and place it over 360. And I'll put weeks here just for the years. And we do that because of what we call banker's rule. So we use 360 instead of 365.
Did you say you would use weeks instead of years?
No, years. I
Okay,
made
what's
them.
the? I
I
can't
made a.
understand
Huh?
what you wrote there.
Yeah, I made a mistake and put weeks. And I said I put weeks instead of years. I meant that's probably what you heard. I put weeks instead of years, and then I erased it and put years. I made a mistake right there.
Oh, okay.
So everything, every measurement that you have as far as time is concerned is supposed to be in years. So all of these are in years. I probably should have put simple interest. All right. So find the simple interest, and I left out simple right there. Find the simple interest after 2 years on $500 at an interest rate of 12%. So you want to write down your givens first. Your principal is going to be 500. Your rate is 12%, which is 0.12. And then we have time, which is 2 years. Run out of room. All right, so the interest earned will be P times R times T, PRT. P 500, R is 0.12, and then 2 is T, and that'll be $120.
What is that you have abbreviated next to the I right there in the second column?
Right here,
I equals, yeah, what is that?
PRT. That's not abbreviation. It's PRT.
PRT.
Yep,
Okay.
P-R and T.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here we have a college graduate borrowed $2,400 at 10% simple interest for 8 months to buy a used car. Find the simple interest he paid. All right, I'll give you a chance to write it. So I always say start off with the given. Your principal is 2,400, or your loan, your rate is 10%, which would be 0.1. And then we have 8 months here. So don't forget our time needs to be in years. So we did it with months, so it's going to be 8 over 12 years, and that can reduce to 2 over 3, 2/3 of a year. All right. Any problems with the given information? All right. Interest earned, PRT, 2,400 times 0.1 times 2/3, 160, right? 3 go to 24, 8. Let me see, yep. All right, so that's 160. All right. So questions before we look at another part to this, like part two. Find the total amount paid for the loan. All right, so that total amount is going to be, yeah, I can write it like this. All right, so your total amount is going to be your principal plus your interest. So your total amount or future value is always represented by A. And I already mentioned that P and I is your principal and interest. So our interest is 160, our principal was 2,400. All right. Questions? Any questions? Got one more thing, then we'll be good to go. Let's see, future value, future amount. I'll leave it at total amount. All right, so that's your formula right there for compounding interest or compound interest. A equal to P times 1. That's the 1 right there, plus R over N raised to the N times T power. So this is a 1. And this is an exponent. So you're going to need to know how to use your calculator. Unless you're real nice with it, you're going to need to know how to use your calculator. A is your total amount, like we just mentioned. All of these we mentioned before, except for that last letter. So A is your total amount, P is your principal, R is your rate, T is your time, and then N is the number of compounding periods per year. So how many times your money get hit with interest, how many times the bank hit your account or the money that you owe. Do this. Mm. So what's going to happen here is that in order to establish what N is, they're going to give you a keyword that's going to let you know what N is supposed to be. Like annually is going to be N equal to 1. That means it only happen once a year. Semi-annually, N is going to be equal to 2. All right, quarterly, N is equal to 4. Monthly n is equal to 12. So you got monthly. I guess weekly is the next one. And then daily. 60. And once again, that's banker's rule. All right. Make sure we're good before we go any further. So I don't see continuous compounding. So I won't introduce that formula. If you do see it in your homework, let me know. We'll talk about it. But being compounded continuously and then compounded daily are two different things. Continuous compounding needs, you would use a different formula altogether. So, but yeah, if you see that word continuous compounding, let me know and then we'll go over it. But since I don't see it, I won't put that in the atmosphere for you to even be thinking about, you know? All right, so any questions before we actually do a few of these problems? All right, so compounded annually. Okay, good. All right, so $1,800 is invested at 2% interest, compounded annually. Find the total amount after 3 years. All right, so just like before, let's look at our givens. So P is 1,800. Our rate is 2%, which is 0.02. Our time is 3 years. And it was compounded annually. So it means N is 1. All right, so like I mentioned before, you do want to make sure you know how to use your calculator. If you have any issues with it, you can always shoot me an email, see what I can do, or we might have to meet on Zoom for a few minutes in order to look at what kind of buttons you have and what your options are. Let me do this. Let me write the formula so we can line it up. All right, so that's the formula: P times 1 plus R over N raised to the N times T power. So you can put it in your calculator like this. Oh, the N was 1, right? Yep. And so, using this symbol right here raises it to a power. Put parentheses around all it in that order. That'll work for you. Now, it depends on the type of calculator you have. If you don't have the ability to put it in your calculator like this, You got to follow order of operations, do it, or, a piece at a time. 3 times 1 is 3. Go ahead and simplify that fraction, add it together, raise it to this power, and then multiply by 1800. So once again, it depends on the type of calculator you have. And if when you get to this section, you need help or you have questions about if your calculator can do certain things, let me know and we can, make it happen. So throwing that in the calculator, you should get $1,910.17. So don't forget we round to 2 decimal places because we're dealing with money. All right, questions before we do one more. All right, so it's $4,000 is invested at 5.3% compounded quarterly for 10 years. Found the total amount at the end of 10 years. All right. $4,000 our principal. 5.3% is the rate. 0.053 converted to a decimal. Time is 10 years. The N is quarterly. And that means we're looking at 4. All right, so we plug it in the formula. So P is 4,000. R is at 0.053. N is 4. And we're going to raise it to the 4 times 10 power. All right. That should be 6,772.12. All right, questions. Questions on anything. All right. So that is the end of chapter 4. Call it B4. Because it's not really chapter 4, I don't think. Some kind of B section. Yeah, because that's not chapter 4. Some kind of B.4, B4 section or whatever. Um, but that's the end of that as far as that is concerned. So I need to post your test too. So, yep. So we look at doing that. Questions before we close? Any questions, concerns, comments? All right. Next class, I'll open the floor once again. It'll be your opportunity to ask me about anything from beginning of the class up to now. Any questions you may have, I'll most definitely address them and knock them out. So I will open up the floor first, just like any other class, and bring in the class so other people can benefit from your questions. Other than that, one more time, everybody good? Everybody straight? Okay. So you guys have a great, I see a thumbs up, appreciate that. So you guys have a great weekend, have a great week, and I will see you on next class. Be
Thank you,
safe.
you too.
Thanks, you the same.
Bye.